Most times when you drag and drop a photo inside of your Photoshop canvas, it fits perfectly to the canvas. However, many a times, no matter what you do inside of your Photoshop preferences, when you drag and drop a photo, it just doesn't fit to the canvas. And let's say you wanted to stretch it to fit it to the canvas, but you just cannot. There is no option to do that. If you press Ctrl or Command T, you would have to make it larger, then zoom in around the corners, trying to fit it perfectly to the pixel. It's a constant struggle. You'd think Photoshop would have such a simple feature, but unfortunately it doesn't. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 such features that I truly wish Photoshop had that we actually had to create it for Photoshop. And most of them you can try and use actually absolutely for free. Absolutely unlimited. So without any further ado, let's get started. All of these features are something you'll find inside of the PiXimperfect compositing plugin. I'll leave a link in the description on how to download and install it. However, you can also install it directly from the Adobe Creative Cloud desktop app. Just go to Stock and Marketplace, go to Plugins, and inside of that just search for PiXimperfect and you'll find the PiXimperfect compositing plugin. You can directly get it from there, or there's a download link in the description as well where you can install it separately. Once you install the plugin, you'll find it inside of Plugins, PiXimperfect compositing. Just click on it to open that up. I'm gonna stick it up right there, and don't worry, even right now I'm using the free version of the plugin. So let's say even if you have the right preferences inside of Photoshop, Settings, on Windows it is under Edit, Preferences, and then General. Even if you have this checked, which is resize image during place, and you place a certain kind of image and it just doesn't resize or you want to fit it to canvas, there's an option to automatically do that inside of the PiXimperfect compositing plugin. Hit enter to just place it. After that, inside of the arrangement section, which is free, just click on adapt to selection. Done. If you feel there's a wide gap, let's press it one more time. There we go. It's perfect. The way it's made to work is that it's made to resize to a particular selection, any selection you make. So let's go back to how it was. Let's press Ctrl or Command D to deselect if there was a selection. And with the rectangular marquee tool, if you make any selection anywhere, and then you click on adapt to selection with that particular layer selected, let's click here. It fits to that particular area. This is not only useful for when stuff is small, but when stuff is bigger, then it fits as well. Here's our subject, and on top of that, we have a light leak overlay layer. If we press Ctrl or Command T, as you can see, it's quite big. Now, if we were to copy this layer by selecting it and pressing Ctrl or Command C, and then going to another document and pressing Ctrl or Command V, you would notice that it's way too big. If we press Ctrl or Command T, see, it's just way too big. How do we fit it again? Same thing. Let's open our PiXimperfect compositing plugin. Inside of that, click on adapt to selection. And it perfectly fits. Now, of course, resizing it becomes so much more easy. I'm going to keep it this way and it just works. Moving on to the next feature, and this is one of the most essential and also free features that you can try. Here we have a beautiful dancer, and to make her more dramatic, we have added some elements. There's a light ring and there are some rays. However, you would notice that both these layers are raster layers. They're not smart objects. The problem is, if you were to select, for example, the ray layer, which has a lot of banding, and if you were to blur it by going to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and let's say we blurred it way too much. We hit OK, and then we did a few steps. The problem is we are stuck. We cannot adjust the blur anymore if we wanted to. We would have to undo everything just to go back to it and apply the blur again. Similarly, raster layers have other limitations too. Let's go back. If we were to select the light ring, for example, and if we press Ctrl or Command T, if we resize it, make it really small, hit enter or return, press Ctrl or Command T again, and make it large again, we lose all the details. It starts to pixelate. So, you already know how to convert these layers into smart objects. You would think just simply right-click on this layer and click on Convert to Smart Object. But what if you have more than one? What if you have 10 layers? What if you have 20? You would have to right-click, click on Convert to Smart Object, select the next one, right-click, click on Convert to Smart Object. That becomes very hectic. On top of that, you cannot even select all the layers and do it all at once. Let's try it. Select this layer. Hold the Shift key, select the bottommost layer that you want to select everything. And then if you right click, click on Convert to Smart Object, it just clubs it into one, and we didn't want that. So there's a feature for it inside of PiXimperfect compositing that makes it super easy. Let's go back to how it was. Select both the layers, select the top one, hold the Shift key, select the bottom one. You can also use Control if you want to select individual layers. And then inside of PiXimperfect compositing, there's a section for layer properties. First of all, let's close arrangement. I'm going to open up layer properties. There's convert to smart object. If you directly click it, it will do exactly what we do with the right click. However, let's go back. If you hold the control key or the command key and then when you click it, it will separately convert each layer that you have selected into a smart object, making it super easy and convenient. And right now you can apply whatever blur you want. Let's go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and I'm going to apply maybe 22, hit OK. And the great part is you can always change it. By double clicking on Gaussian blur, you can change it to whatever value you choose. You can even select the light ring, press Ctrl or Command T, make it really small, hit enter or return, Ctrl or Command T again, make it large again. It doesn't lose any detail. Moving on to the next feature, and this is also a free feature, extremely important if you're into compositing or any kind of design. So here's a background that I created for a thumbnail, as you can see. And on top of that, I want pictures of myself cut out. So usually you would open up one photo. I have several photos here. You would open up one photo, hit enter or return, select any of these three tools like the quick selection tool, click on select subject, wait for it to make a selection, and then click on the mask button. And then let's say you want to try another one, you would bring the second one, do the whole thing again. It is just so time taking if you wanted to try different elements or have multiple elements. So instead of doing all that, you can just open up PiXimperfect compositing. Inside of that, in the arrangement section, check load into open document, load as layers, and you want to make sure it's a smart object. You can also check to remove the background. It will do it for you. And if you want to use cloud, check that as well. The cloud select subject. It's more accurate. Now you can select individual files or a folder as well. So I'm going to click on folder and we're going to select this entire photos folder. Click on open. And now the plugin will automatically open every photo in that folder, place it into that Photoshop document, and also remove the background. And as you can see, it's done. Now you might see different sizes. It tries to resize it according to the canvas. So let's press Ctrl or Command Z to just go back and get it to the normal size, and it's done. And you can try multiple ones. Here's the first one, here's the second one, here's the third one, or have multiple ones. It's up to you. The next feature is also extremely important in compositing, design, photography, all of that. And that has to do with masking. Keep in mind, it's not a free feature, but I'm going to anyway share with you how to do it in Photoshop. If you don't want to pay for the premium features of the plugin, that's absolutely fine. It just takes a while longer, but you can do it. With the quick selection tool selected, let's click on select subject. No matter how accurate select subject has become, there's going to be little halos here and there. With the selection active, let's click on the mask button and let's put a black background behind. Click on the adjustment layer icon. Let's choose solid color. Black is fine, and place it under the subject. If you zoom in, you would notice halos around the edge. Some areas do not have it, but most areas do. So how do we fix it? In Photoshop, we have to make a selection, contract the selection, erase the halos. It's quite a long process. With PiXimperfect compositing plugin, you can just select a mask here. Inside of the masking section, let me quickly open that up. There's a section for removing halos. Right now, as I told you, even I'm using the free version of the plugin. So if I were to click on any one of these features marked in blue, it will ask me to buy the plugin. Since I already have it, I'm going to click on activate license. Let's use the plugin. Now when I go back to the same features, the blue outline is gone and I can simply click on this button called shrink mask. There you go. It's fixed. If you want to shrink it one more time, click on shrink mask again and it's gone. Most of the halos from around the image is gone. So here was the before, all the halos. Here's the after, all of that gone. And you can continue clicking on shrink mask, but it can become extreme, so be careful with that. So just a button fixes such a simple issue. Now, if you don't want to pay for the plugin, there's a way you can do this in Photoshop. You can select the mask, go to filter, other, minimum. And that pushes it too. You can pick the radius 1, 5, 16. That can be done too. You want to make sure that preserve is set to roundness or square, depending upon the kind of images you're working with. I usually keep it with roundness, and maybe 1 would do. You can also pick decimal values like 0.6. Even that works. Once you're satisfied, hit OK. So that's a little longer way of doing it without the plugin. It's easy to. At the end of the day, it is my job to make you the master of Photoshop, not to sell plugins. Your knowledge is way more important to me. The next feature is also super essential for photo effects and bringing composites together, and that is adding grain. As you can see in this composite, this is how it looked before. Nothing is matching. Even the background was not blurred. And this is how it looks after all the adjustments. However, if you zoom in, to bring everything together, if we could add just a little bit of grain, that would blend things beautifully. However, there are two ways we can do it. We have to merge everything by pressing Ctrl, Alt, Shift, and E with the topmost layer selected, then go to Camera, and inside of that apply grain. And if we wanted to make some adjustments here, we would have to delete that layer, create a merge layer again, do it all over again. It's very time consuming. Or another way is pressing Ctrl, Shift, N, Command, Shift, N, going to Mode and changing it to Overlay. Where did that go? Choose Fill with Overlay Neutral Color, hit OK, and add grain to this layer by going to Filter, Noise, Add Noise, and then you would add some noise, add some blur, making it again very complicated. And also with this method, you don't have specific grain controls like grain size, roughness, and all that. However, let's delete it. With PiXimperfect compositing, you have a section just for this. Open up the Structures section. Inside of that, there's a Grain Creation section. All you have to do is to click on plus, and there you go. Grain is created, and you can control every aspect of it. For example, the amount of grain, more grain, or less grain. Let's increase it all the way to the max. You also have blend if controls. If the blend if is all the way to the right, grain is applied all throughout the image. As soon as you take the blend if to the left, you would notice that the grain goes away from the bright areas of the image, which usually happens with real-life high ISO photos. And you can control the entire thing. As you can see right now, grain is not there in the highlight areas and only in the shadow areas. Let's increase it all the way to the right-hand side just to show you what it does. We're going to decrease the grain amount. And then you can control the size of the grain, the roughness and the irregularity, which is kind of the same thing. And this just blends everything together so darn well. There you go. And now when you zoom in just a little bit, see, things are blended in so nice. And at any point you can adjust it. You can reopen the plugin and decrease the amount maybe if you think it's too much. And it will make changes to that particular layer. The way it is working is that it has simply created a gray layer and applied grain through Camera Raw. If you open up the Camera Raw filter and scroll down to the Effects section, inside of that there is Grain Properties. You'll see the three same sliders: the amount of grain, the size, and the roughness. So just smart work there, not trying to hide anything. Again, if you're interested in PiXimperfect compositing, you can check it out, download it by using the link in the description. There's a free version, premium version. I recommend that you at least try the free version. It has lots of great features. I would really like to thank Robin and the entire Picture Instruments team for making PiXimperfect compositing plugin possible, because I know as much about coding as the anatomy of a penguin. So thanks for being the code behind the ideas, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to give us a like, and also don't forget to subscribe, and not just subscribe. Ring the bell so that you, my friend, don't miss any other feature tips, tricks, or tutorials. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Till then, stay tuned and make sure that you keep creating.